A small family of 3 lives in an isolated settlement on Mars. 9-year-old Remmy and her parents. Around them stretches a lifeless wasteland with no sign of neighbors or other settlers. They are among the few who managed to escape after Earth was ruined by humanity, left unfit for anyone to live on. Despite their hard conditions, the family values their simple and peaceful life. Remmy loves stargazing with her father, and sometimes, the family gathers to listen to Remy's mother Ilsa strum gentle tunes on the guitar. They hold on to the hope that one day, Martian society will bloom the way Earth once did. Remy's curiosity often draws her to the distant mountains, but she is never allowed to go there, as her mother forbids it. Everything remains steady, until one morning, Remmy wakes to find a chilling message. The word leave is smeared across the window in blood. Ilsa rushes out of the room in panic while Remy's father grabs his rifle and begins searching for whoever is responsible. They later hear the distant cries of strangers mocking them. Pushed to his limit, Remy's father shouts, demanding the intruders show themselves. Remmy bursts into tears, and Ilsa quickly holds her close to comfort her. But Remmy worries for her pet pig, and while Ilsa goes to check on her husband, the little girl sneaks out to see the pig. She is relieved to find the animal safe. Back at the shelter, Ilsa realizes Remmy is gone, so she dashes out and calls for her daughter to return. At that moment, 2 armed bandits rush toward Remmy, but just in time, her father guns down one of them, while Ilsa takes down the other with a knife. She then pulls Remmy into her arms and rushes back inside. Remy's father searches for more attackers, but gunfire forces him to take cover. From inside, Ilsa spots the shooter and shouts his position. Her husband fires back, wounding the bandit in the leg, then chases him down to finish the fight. Meanwhile, Ilsa gathers weapons from the fallen raiders. Remmy notices that one of the dead is a young girl, but there is no time to dwell on it, as she and Ilsa quickly lock themselves inside the shelter. Ilsa holds Remmy close as the two spend the night consumed by fear. At daybreak, Ilsa remains uneasy, and she is startled when she hears a sound near the window. She feels relieved when it turns out to be only Remy's pet pig. However, that relief doesn't last when she sees the wounded bandit inside, pointing a gun at her. It is the same man her husband shot in the leg, and his presence means that Remy's father has likely fallen. Surprisingly, he is nothing like the wild brute they imagined. He introduces himself as Jerry, speaking calmly and softly. Jerry then makes a startling claim. He says this house once belonged to his parents and accuses Remy's family of killing them to take it. Despite this, he sets aside his anger and offers to let them stay. However, Ilsa refuses, and she brings her daughter outside. Remmy begs her mother that they leave, but Ilsa has another plan in mind. She sneaks back into the house with a knife, determined to ambush Jerry. However, her plan fails as Jerry seizes her by the hair and throws her to the floor. Ilsa manages to stab him in the leg again, but it makes little difference. With her pinned down, Jerry points a rifle at her head. Yet, he does not kill her. He remains calm and offers a grim bargain. He tells her that if she can restrain herself from seeking revenge for 30 days, he will hand her a gun himself. Until then, she must keep her anger in check. For Remy's sake, Ilsa reluctantly agrees. Later that day, they hold a burial for Remy's father, while Jerry buries the 2 bandits who had been killed earlier. Once again, Remmy asks her mother to leave, but Ilsa refuses because the dangers outside are far worse than living with Jerry. And so, the days begin to pass. Remmy scratches marks on a dusty window to count down the promised 30 days. Ilsa goes on with the daily chores, while Jerry busies himself repairing the base. Curious, Remmy secretly follows Jerry one day and discovers his hidden stash of weapons. Among his belongings, she finds a sketch of the young bandit girl who had died. Seeing it softens her feelings toward him. But her attention shifts when she comes across a mask, one that could allow her to survive the harsh Martian air. Around this time, her quiet days are brightened by a small robot she finds in the storage room. She names it Steve and quickly befriends it. As the days roll on, the anger that Remmy and Ilsa once held toward Jerry slowly begins to fade. At last, Ilsa reveals the truth about Jerry's parents. She explains that when she and her husband were stranded on Mars, Jerry's father took them in. For a while, the 3 of them lived together peacefully. But everything changed when Jerry's father discovered that Ilsa and her husband were immigrants from Earth. He turned a rifle on them and demanded that they leave. Ilsa fears for her unborn child's survival as she is already 7 months pregnant. In desperation, she cut the throat of Jerry's father. She warns Jerry that she would do the same to him if it meant protecting Remmy. But Jerry holds no resentment. He admits that he never would have returned to his parents' settlement if circumstances hadn't forced him, since all the Martian cities had already been destroyed. As the 30th day approaches, something unexpected happens. Ilsa and Jerry begin to grow close, until they eventually started sleeping together. For Remmy, this is unbearable. She still mourns her father and views her mother's actions as a betrayal. Unable to stand it anymore, she packs her belongings and leaves. She wanders across the rocky Martian terrain until she sees her own reflection shimmering in the air. It is then she realizes that their settlement lies within a massive glass dome, holding in the atmosphere. Her dream of freedom shatters, and she breaks down in tears. Not long after, she notices a large metal door. She pushes it open and finds herself inside a dark buffer tunnel between the dome and the outside world. Then, the real outer door begins to open, and the harsh Martian air floods in. The environment overwhelms her instantly. She panics and tries to crawl back, but the force is too much, and the last thing she feels is her body giving out in the deadly atmosphere. The next morning, Remmy wakes in her bed. Jerry had carried her back and saved her life, but the experience doesn't break her spirit. Her longing to explore the outside only grows stronger. She asks Jerry about what lies beyond the dome, and the man says that there is nothing left but rock and dust. He says the Martian atmosphere is collapsing and that they are fortunate to live in such a secure settlement. However, Remmy refuses to accept this as she believes something must still exist beyond the walls. Realizing her fascination with the outside world, Jerry burns the survival masks that would have allowed her to venture out. Remy's sadness deepens, especially when she sees her mother playing the guitar with Jerry sitting beside her. The sight reminds Remmy of the family life they once had. To her, it feels like another betrayal. Overcome with anger, she runs away and locks herself inside a storeroom. Ilsa follows, trying to soothe her, but fails to break through her daughter's pain. At last, the promised day arrives, and the 30 days are over. Jerry hands Ilsa a pistol and turns his back. He seems confident that Ilsa has finally accepted him, but to his surprise, she raises the pistol at him and pulls the trigger without hesitation. Yet, the weapon does not fire. The magazine is empty as it was all a test set up by Jerry, and Ilsa has failed. Ilsa quickly grabs a knife from the kitchen, but Jerry rushes to stop her. In the struggle that follows, Ilsa loses her life while Jerry is left wounded. Terror consumes Remmy, as she is now alone with the man who has taken both her parents. She tries to run, but Jerry catches her and pleads for her to stay. Being only a child, Remmy has no choice but to remain. Years pass, and Remmy grows into a young woman. She learns how to manage the settlement, keeping the base thriving. Jerry even begins to trust her enough to hand her a loaded gun. Though Remmy no longer seeks revenge for her parents, she still keeps her guard up. Jerry, however, tries endlessly to win her over. He tells her about a pond in the valley where he goes to swim and invites her to join him. At first, Remmy refuses, but after some time, she decides to see it for herself. When she arrives, Jerry steps aside, leaving the water for her alone as a gesture of trust. Remmy soaks quietly for a while, then joins Jerry, who is resting under a tree with a drink in his hand. He offers her some, and together they sit in uneasy silence. Later, back at the base, Jerry presents Remmy with a drawing he made of Ilsa. Overcome with emotion, Remmy breaks down in tears. Jerry comforts her, but something shifts within him. He no longer sees Remmy as the little girl he once found. Taking advantage of her fragile state, Jerry shares a kiss with her. But moments later, Remmy recoils and runs to her room. The next day, an uneasy conversation takes place between them. Jerry insists that they might be the last people alive, and for humanity's future, they must build a new generation. Remmy rejects this, thinking it is just a deception, but Jerry is convinced that Remmy sleeping with him is necessary for mankind's survival. To avoid another argument, Remmy sits outside with her robot Steve. After some long reflection, she decides that she must leave this place for good, but her plan is uncovered when Jerry finds one of her masks hidden in her room. Furious, he storms outside to destroy it. Remmy begs him to give it back, but Jerry angrily insists that everything he has done was for her, and that she should sleep with him because he is the last man alive. When Remmy tries to grab the mask, their struggle turns violent, and she accidentally hits her head on a metal pipe, falling unconscious. She is later horrified to find herself tied to the bed. Jerry then starts touching her, while explaining how important it is for them to do it, for the sake of humanity. Remmy starts crying out in terror as Jerry forces her to stay quiet. But before he can go further, Steve rushes in, and to Remmy's shock, the little robot is armed. It fires and accurately hits Jerry in the neck. Though wounded, Jerry manages to destroy Steve with a shot of his own. Desperate to stop his bleeding, he staggers away in search of a med kit. Seizing the moment, Remmy frees herself and takes hold of her rifle. Jerry picks up a pistol, but then strangely, he drops it and accepts his fate. Without hesitation, Remmy pulls the trigger and ends his life. The weight of loneliness soon falls upon her. Even Steve, her only real friend, lies broken. She curls up near her parents' graves, clinging to the only comfort left to her. But the settlement has become a prison of memories, too suffocating to bear. Despite the dangers outside, she resolves to leave and search the unknown world. Before setting off, she decides to repair Steve, and after many attempts, she finally succeeds. With her faithful robot restored, she gears up and prepares for her journey. Remmy bids Steve farewell, leaving him in charge of the base. Then she steps into the same tunnel she had entered as a child. Only this time, she is ready. Beyond the dome stretches a wasteland, barren and endless. Still, she moves forward, with the hope of still finding others. Did you like our movie recap? Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. To be updated for new movie recaps, hit the notification bell.